Are you swimming in debt, but you keep hearing your friends and family talking about crypto is taking over? You need to invest in Bitcoin. You should have some XRP. You need to be investing in the stock market. Then this video is for you.
This is my journey to homesteading. You can come and learn and earn with me. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe.
So, should you start investing if you have debt? Well, today we're going to break that down and give some real life examples and no fluff, just to go over a realistic plan for you to be able to start today. Okay, so first things first, let's get one thing clear. Not all debt is the same. There is toxic debt and then there's manageable debt. So here's a quick breakdown. High interest debt like credit cards or payday loans or anything that is over 10 to 15% interest, that's what we're going to consider your high interest debt. Then you have medium interest debt. Your medium interest debt is like personal or private loans that are usually about 5 to 10%, nothing over that 10% barrier. And your low interest debt is going to be things like federal student loans or mortgages or auto loans, things that are typically under 5%. However, I know that we live in a time frame right now where those car loans and mortgage loans, they've been killing people in the 13% range. So that might be your high interest debt or your medium interest debt, depending on where your like loans and things fall on the debt range. But your interest rate matters because you want to focus on paying off the highest interest rate before the lowest interest rate. Why does the interest rate matter? Well, because the interest rate is going to be the key into deciding whether or not you should pay off your debt first or whether or not you can pay off your debt while starting to invest at the same time. Here's the golden rule. If your debt's interest is higher than what you would earn from investing, pay that off first. So let me explain. The stock market returns about 7 to 10% per year over the long run of your investing. So if you have a credit card that's charging you 22%, then we would consider that a financial emergency. You need to pay that off first because that's like getting a guaranteed 22% return on your yearly investments. But let's say your debt is a student loan and your student loan is at 4.5%. Then I would say you're in a pretty safe place where you can consider investing for your future and also paying off your debt. Now we're going to look at some real life examples. Example 1. Let's say you've got credit card debt and no savings. Credit card. You owe $3,000 at 21%. You currently make $2,000 per month. Let's build a strategy. First thing you want to do is build a small emergency fund that is $350 to $500. That way you can avoid more debt. Next thing you want to do is go into debt attack mode. You can either use the snowball method or you can use the avalanche method. Lastly, you want to hold off on investing. I mean, unless you have a 401k, then technically you're probably already investing because you get a match. That's just free money. But if you're in the position where you've got the $3,000 debt and you only make $2,000 a month, we want to focus on paying off the debt first before we do anything else. Another scenario, let's say what you have is student loan debt. And right now you are earning steady income from a regular job. Student loans, you owe about $25,000 and that's at a 4.5% interest rate. Right now you're making $3,500 a month. Your strategy for paying off your debt should be to first pay the minimum that you can on your loans. Next, You want to start investing small, maybe $5, $10, $20, $25. And this is all on a monthly basis. It doesn't have to be weekly, doesn't have to be daily, but you want to start off with those small investments consistently. For those small investments, if you've seen on previous videos, you can use apps like M1, you can use apps like Robinhood, or you can also go through companies like Fidelity who can help you with the small investments by them doing it for you. Also, you do want to automate your investing so that you're not overthinking it. You're not focused on watching charts. You're not worried about constantly having to go into your pocket or go online and make the investments yourself. Let it automate so that you don't have to do all of that extra thinking. Another example, let's say you have a low interest mortgage plus some extra cash. So right now, let's say you owe $180,000 at about 3.7% with no additional credit card debt. Right now, you're making $6,000 a month. This can be your strategy for paying off debt and starting to invest. 1, keep your mortgage, clearly, because that's where you live. You probably got to keep the roof over your house. But you want to go heavy into your investing. You want to get things like maybe a Roth IRA, index funds, or maybe even real estate investing. In this position where you've just got the mortgage at the low interest rate plus the extra income, you're in a perfect position to start investing. So if you are in that position and you're not, technically your finances don't align for where you're ready to start investing, then we may need to look at something different versus your debt to income ratio. How much are you spending monthly versus how much you're actually earning? But that's another video for another day. We can definitely get into it. So if you've been on a finance journey, then you know that they have all these different rules for saving, paying bills, and investing. There's like the 10-10-80 rule where you live off the 80%, you save 10 and invest 10. There's the 50-20-30 rule where you live off 50% of your income, you invest 20%, and you save the other 20%. So this is another one of those rules. It's just catered a little differently. This one is the 70-20-10 rule. Ideally, you would put 70% of your income towards the debt, 20% of income towards investing. No, that's not the way it works. Hold on. So in the 70-20-30 rule, we're only discussing your extra money that you have left over after taking care of all of your bills and necessities like food and stuff like that. The 70-20-30. 70% of your extra income is going straight towards managing your debt. 20% of your extra income goes towards investing. The last 10% of your extra income goes towards your savings. That's pretty simple, right? That way you're not frozen and you're just making progress in small areas. Let's say at the end of the month, you have $300 left over after taking care of everything it was that you needed to take care of. What you want to do is take $210 of that $300 and put that towards your debt so that you can start paying that down. The next you want to do is take $60, put that into an index fund, an IRA, somewhere that you can invest it safely, not necessarily into something as risky as day trading or investing in the crypto market. You don't want to jump right into those because they do have a lot of risk, and you do need to be able to sit down and manage those risks. And lastly, you want to put the last $30 into your savings. That way your savings can continue to grow and you can avoid debt. That way, if you don't have some money left over at the end of one of these months, hopefully if you've been doing this consistently enough, you'll have that savings there for you to protect you. That way you don't have to go back into further debt. Let's discuss where you really want to invest if you don't have a whole lot of money and you have lingering debt. You do still have options for safe investing. Option 1, which I know is a little sketchy considering the political climate that we're under right now, but option 1, which has been a good option for hundreds of years, or at least however long it's been around. Option 1 is a 401k. If your employer offers a 401k, please definitely invest into the 401k because it's an employer match. So you invest $50, your employer matches that $50 either 100% or they'll match 50% of that $50. It depends on what your employer offers. But at the end of the day, that's free money that you don't have to invest, and you can collect it all for when you're ready to retire. The next option is a Roth IRA. It is tax-free and it's flexible to access your contributions. Roth IRAs, you can start with as little as $20 to $50. You don't have to have like $500 to open up a Roth IRA account. That is definitely something you can look into, or maybe we can go into, maybe I can make another video that goes heavily into detail on the different types of accounts that you want to open up to start investing. Option number 3 would be fractional shares. So when you are making small investments on an app like Robinhood or Coinbase, or even on Acorns and things like that, if you're just investing $5 to $10 into these larger corporations, what you're purchasing are fractional shares. So let's say one complete share of Nike. Let's say, I think the last time I checked, they were at like 180 something. Maybe I'm wrong, but let's say one full share of Nike is $180. But you still want to invest in Nike and still own a piece of Nike. You can purchase a fraction of that share. So your $5 would not purchase you the full share of Nike. However, you would get a piece of that share that Nike has for your $5. You can also buy fractions of ETFs. Those are exchange traded funds. So it's basically a collection of stocks. Each ETF is going to focus on a different sector of the stock market. So you have like tech ETFs, fashion ETFs, corporate ETFs, things like that. So an ETF, if you want to invest in an ETF, that's like investing in several different stocks at the same time. And also, again, still with your $5, $10, $20, however much you want to get started with, you would be purchasing fractional shares of all of these different companies at the same time. And it's definitely a good way to diversify your portfolio, because with investing, you never want to throw all your eggs into one basket, because if that basket goes up in flames, then so do all of your earnings. And again, like I stated before, the best thing you want to do when you're starting off early investing, you want to get some sort of automation started so that you do not have to think about it. You want to set it and forget it. Let your money grow in the background without you having to stress about it. Get your savings / paying off debt plan together and just put it in motion without you having to think about it. If there's a way for you to automate your debt payments, definitely get them automated. That way, as soon as you get paid, it's just coming out of your paycheck. And then whatever's left over after you've automatically paid your debt, after you've automatically paid all of your bills and stuff like that, then you can take that extra money, utilize that 70-20-10 rule, and then start investing with that. And while I can sit here and give you all tips and tricks on how to save and invest until I'm blue in the face, the most important key in all of this is your mindset. 1, do you believe that you can really pay off your debt? Do you really want to pay off your debt? Are you willing to pay off your debt? What's your mindset on money? How do you see money? Do you see money as a tool, or do you see money as something that actually sustains you? Because you don't want money to be what sustains you. You want to have some sort of source outside of money that sustains you, while you utilize money as a tool to get you the things that you need, not what actually sustains you and provides your needs, if that makes sense. Be sure that you are being true to you through this process as well, because while some people, they feel empowered from investing, they feel like they've just crossed and charted onto new land. However, others may feel stressed and overwhelmed when it comes to investing. So know what you want out of this from the jump. If you don't want stressed and like highly volatile markets to invest in and things like that, then yes, you may want to think of long-term investing, something that is just, again, you consistently putting money in weekly, daily, monthly, over a long period of time to see big growth at the end of your work journey and things like that, instead of it being like fast payouts, because that might cause a lot of stress. If investing $5-10 a week helps you stay motivated and hopeful, then definitely start small before you ever jump into the big hustle and bustle of investing. So, in closing, should you start investing if you have debt? I mean, it really depends. But with the right plan and the right mindset and a few smart moves, you can definitely do both. You don't need to be debt free to build wealth. You really just need to start. So if your situation is a little more unique and you're not sure where you fit in all of this saving versus investing or paying off debt, then you can definitely feel free to drop your situation in the comments and we can maybe work out a plan to help you get started from wherever you are right now. And if you found this helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Definitely feel free to share with someone who might need this information.